von allen sind wahrscheinlich und Hoffnungsstellen von jedem. Ich hoffe, dass das Programm besser im nächsten Jahr veröffentlicht wird. Es wäre vielleicht zweimal im Jahr und es enthält auch mündliche Prüfung oder es. Endlich möchte ich sagen, vielen Dank.
Hi, my name is Kasuko. I'm a teacher from Malaysia. Now I'm teaching in SGKC Patangkali. I have been a teacher for 13 years. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to organizer Simeo Kitab to offer me such wonderful learning experience. During these 3 months of learning, I have bring my English to a level up. Thank you much to the organizer and the program. I would like to encourage all my fellow friends to join this program if you have chance, because it's really will make your English improve and let you learn in a wonderful way. So thanks again to organizer. See you on Bye.
Assalamualaikum et bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Gita Wahyudi Lumaim. Je suis indonésienne et en ce moment j'habite à Kuala Lumpur en Malaisie. Je suis professeure de français au lycée indonésien de Kuala Lumpur et j'enseigne le français depuis 2 ans maintenant. Je suis contente d'avoir participé à ce programme car j'ai pu améliorer mes compétences en français à un niveau supérieur. Et en plus, la plateforme est très utile et facile à utiliser. Merci beaucoup SEAQIL de m'avoir donné la chance pour participer à ce programme. Et j'espère qu'à l'avenir, il y aura plus de programmes similaires afin que nous puissions continuer à améliorer nos compétences linguistiques pour enseigner la langue. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine fois.
Hallo, ich heiße Nahi Cahya, ich komme aus Jakarta, aus Indonesien. Ich bin Lehrerin an der SMA 84 und seit 2007 unterrichte ich Deutsch. Ich habe viel Wissen und Erfahrungen von der Plattform Audisia und auch von anderen befreundeten Teilnehmern gewonnen. Es ist wirklich nützlich. Es verbessert alle Sprachkenntnisse der Lernenden. Hoffentlich, dass es mehr Stipendien für Lehrer geben wird. Ich hoffe, dass ich eine weitere Chance zu haben, bei SEAQIL zu studieren. Danke an SEAQIL für alles, was Sie mir und den Teilnehmern gebracht haben. Ihre Mitarbeiter haben sich sorgfältig alle Teilnehmer gekümmert und auch alle Fragen beantwortet. Danke nochmal. Beste Grüße an euch alle.
Bonjour, je vous présente. Je m'appelle Ayunda, je viens de l'Indonésie. Je suis enseignante du français au lycée 91 Jakarta depuis 1 an. Après avoir fini cette formation pendant 3 mois, je trouve que cette formation est très géniale, utile et enrichissante. Grâce à cette formation, je pourrais avoir beaucoup de nouvelles connaissances et développer mes compétences du français, compétences écrites et aussi orales. Je suis très contente de participer à cette formation. À l'avenir, j'espère que Simeo Kitab in Language SEAQIL pourra organiser plus de formations pour les enseignants et des Enfin, je remercie à SEAQIL pour cette opportunité.
Di jeruk. unsere Gruppe am Sonntag Einkaufsliste schon gemacht und habe auch sie in unserer Gruppenchat geteilt. Hast du sie schon gesehen?
Ja, hab schon gelesen. Für den Salat kann ich die Zutaten kaufen. Morgen hab ich vor, zum Markt zu gehen.
Schön. Ich kaufe dann die Getränke und Käse für die Pasta. Morgen nach der Vorlesung gehe ich zum Supermarkt. Morgen. Sie wünschen bitte?
Morgen. Ich hätte gern einen Salat und 500 Gramm Tomaten, bitte.
Alles klar. Sonst noch etwas?
Was ist heute im Angebot?
Heute sind Avocados, Erdbeeren und Kirschen im Angebot. Ein Kilo Avocados kostet nur 2 Euro, ein Kilo frische Erdbeeren für 80 Cent und ein Kilo Kirschen für 1 Euro.
Dann nehme ich 1 Kilo Avocados und 1 Kilo Kirschen, bitte. Haben Sie auch Zwiebeln?
Ja, wie viel brauchen Sie?
2 große Zwiebeln, bitte.
Okay. Noch etwas?
Nein, das ist alles.
Alles klar. Das macht alles 5,20 Euro.
Hier bitte.
Und 80 Cent zurück. Dankeschön.
Danke. Tschüss. Schönen Tag noch.
Tschüss. Gleichfalls. Hallo, guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Ich brauche noch eine Tüte, bitte.
Eine Tüte kostet 50 Cent. Das macht alles 8,80 Euro.
Hier, bitte.
Brauchen Sie den Zettel?
Ja, bitte.
Also, hier ist der Zettel und 1,20 Euro für Sie. Danke. Schönen Tag noch.
Danke. Ihnen auch. Und wie kauft man Lebensmittel in eurem Heimatland ein? Ist das anders wie bei uns in Deutschland?
SEAQIL in Language is a center created by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization established in 13 July 2009. Our work is focusing on Indonesian language for foreign learners, Arabic, German, Japanese, Mandarin, as well as mother tongue as bridge language of instruction in teaching and learning. To always bring innovation in the area of language education development, we collaborate and provide quality programs of professional excellence for language teachers through learning resources development, research and development, capacity building, and networking. For years, we support language teachers and education personnel by imparting our 4 values: innovative spirit, commitment toward quality, cooperation, and customer satisfaction. In designing our programs, we comply with the policy and agenda of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. And to accommodate the Southeast Asian teachers, we answer to SEAQIL 7 priority areas as well as the 5 recommendations of SEAQIL Council. We endeavor to maintain and strengthen extensive networks with various national, regional, and international institutions. By doing so, we continue collaborating on the improvement of education in Southeast Asia. In the years to come, we strive to work under strategic observations and challenges faced in the 21st century learning. We will continue on conducting needed analysis and research, capacity building, and strengthening linkages. SEAQIL Kitab in Language, prioritizing languages, advancing education.
Hallo, mein Name ist Ulanda Mayanti. Ich bin schon seit 11 Jahren an der SMA N5 Taruna Brawijaya Jawa Timur, Indonesia Deutsch unterrichtet. Es freut mich sehr, an dieser Fortbildung teilnehmen zu können. Die Zeit ist sehr flexibel, dass ich mein eigenes Tempo regeln kann. Das ist sehr gut für die Lehrkräfte mit vielen Aufgaben. Ich hoffe, es gibt noch weitere Fortbildungen, die so gut wie diese ist. Vielen Dank, SEAQIL Kitab in Language. Auf Wiedersehen.
Hello, I am Ling Eng and I'm from Cambodia. I'm an English teacher at SEAQIL. I'm really grateful for being one of the participants to join the online training on teachers' language competency improvement. This e-learning program provides great learning opportunities to different teaching professionals to develop skills of their language expertise. These online platforms are designed for different categories of learning contents and tasks, and especially the flexibility for learners. At the end of the training period, there will be certificates given to the participants. I believe that different learning concepts will be developed and open to more participants in the future. Thanks to the organizers for this amazing learning experience.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Kori Hafiza Al-Husna, je viens de l'Indonésie. Je suis enseignant de français au lycée SMA Kapin Jakarta depuis un an. Je suis très content de participer à la formation en ligne pour l'améliorer des compétences des enseignants de langue. Dans cette formation, je peux apprendre indépendamment avec une application Alticia pendant 3 mois. Grâce à cela, je peux enrichir mes connaissances et mes compétences de langue française, comme la compréhension orale, la compréhension écrite, la grammaire, la prononciation et aussi beaucoup de vocabulaire. J'espère que SEAQIL pourra organiser plus de formations en ligne, par exemple sur la compétence pour la production orale, soit la production écrite des enseignants de langue. Enfin, je remercie à SEAQIL qui m'a donné cette opportunité. Bon succès, au revoir!
Bei so einer Gelegenheit, ich möchte mich Ihnen vorstellen. Mein Name ist Mariana Mausali. Ich arbeite als Deutschlehrerin in der SMA Kristen 2 Kalabai seit 2019. Aber eigentlich lehre ich Deutsch seit 2018. Mein Land ist Indonesien. Meine Heimat ist Alor Insel in NTT. Ich bleibe begeistert, obwohl das nicht einfach ist. Ja? In der gleichen Zeit muss ich meine anderen Aktivitäten tun. Aber jetzt bin ich sehr stolz darauf. Ich kann das Programm bis Ende teilnehmen. Dieses Programm gibt mir viele Erfahrungen. Ja. Natürlich kann ich meine Deutschkenntnisse verbessern, vor allem Sinn, Wortschatz und Verstehen von jedem. Ich hoffe, dass das Programm besser im nächsten Jahr veranstaltet wird. Es wäre vielleicht 2-mal im Jahr und es enthält auch mündliche Prüfung oder mündliche Tests. Endlich möchte ich sagen, vielen Dank, SEAQIL, für die Sonnengelegenheit.
Hi, my name is Sasudu. I'm a teacher from Malaysia. Now I'm teaching in SJKC Patangkali. I have been a teacher for 13 years. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to organizer SEAQIL to offer me such wonderful learning experience. During these 3 months of learning, I have bring my English to a level up. Thank you very much to the organizer and the program. I would like to encourage all my fellow friends to join this program if you have chance, because it really will make your English improve and let you learn in a wonderful way. So thanks again to organizer. See you on Competency. Bye.
Assalamualaikum et bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Gita Wahyuni Lumain. Je suis indonésienne et en ce moment j'habite à Kuala Lumpur en Malaisie. Je suis professeure de français au lycée indonésien de Kuala Lumpur et j'enseigne le français depuis 2 ans maintenant. Je suis contente d'avoir participé à ce programme car j'ai pu améliorer mes compétences en français à un niveau supérieur. Et en plus, la plateforme est très utile et facile à utiliser. Merci beaucoup SEAQIL de m'avoir donné la chance pour participer à ce programme. Et j'espère qu'à l'avenir, il y aura plus de programmes similaires afin que nous puissions continuer à améliorer nos compétences linguistiques pour enseigner la langue. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine fois.
Hallo, ich heiße Nahi Cahya, ich komme aus Jakarta, aus Indonesien. Ich bin Lehrerin an der SMA 84 und seit 2007 unterrichte ich Deutsch. Ich habe viel Wissen und Erfahrungen von der Plattform Alticia. und auch von anderen befreundeten Teilnehmern gewonnen. Es ist wirklich nützlich. Es verbessert alle Sprachkenntnisse der Lernenden. Hoffentlich, dass es mehr solche Stipendien für Lehrer geben wird. Ich hoffe, dass ich eine weitere Chance zu haben, bei SEAQIL zu studieren. Danke an SEAQIL für alles, was Sie mir und den Teilnehmern gebracht haben. Ihre Mitarbeiter haben sich sorgfältig alle Teilnehmer gekümmert und auch alle Fragen beantwortet. Danke nochmal. Beste Grüße an euch alle.
Bonjour, je vous présente, je m'appelle Ayunda, je viens de l'Indonésie. Je suis enseignante du français au lycée 91 Jakarta depuis un an. Après avoir fini cette formation pendant 3 mois, je trouve que cette formation est très géniale, utile et enrichissante. Grâce à cette formation, je pourrais avoir beaucoup de nouvelles connaissances et développer mes compétences du français, soit la compétence écrite et aussi orale. Je suis très contente de participer à cette formation. À l'avenir, j'espère que SEAQIL Language SEAQIL pourra organiser plus de bonnes formations pour les enseignantes et je pourrai avoir une autre opportunité d'y participer. Enfin, je remercie à SEAQIL pour cette opportunité. À la prochaine!
Also, für unsere Party am Samstag habe ich die Einkaufsliste schon gemacht und habe auch sie in unserer Gruppenchat geteilt. Hast du sie schon gesehen?
Ja, hab schon gelesen. Für den Salat kann ich die Zutaten kaufen. Morgen hab ich vor, zum Markt zu gehen.
Schön. Ich kaufe dann die Getränke und Käse für die Pasta. Morgen nach der Vorlesung gehe ich zum Supermarkt. Morgen. Sie wünschen bitte?
Morgen. Ich hätte gern einen Salat und 500 Gramm Tomaten, bitte.
Alles klar. Sonst noch etwas?
Was ist heute im Angebot?
Heute sind Avocados, Erdbeeren und Kirschen im Angebot. 1 Kilo Avocados kostet nur 2 Euro, 1 Kilo frische Erdbeeren für 80 Cent und 1 Kilo Kirschen für 1 Euro.
Dann nehme ich 1 Kilo Avocados und 1 Kilo Kirschen, bitte. Haben Sie auch Zwiebeln?
Ja, wie viel brauchen Sie?
2 große Zwiebeln, bitte.
Okay. Noch etwas?
Nein, das ist alles.
Alles klar. Das macht alles 5,20 Euro.
Hier bitte.
Und 80 Cent zurück. Dankeschön.
Danke. Tschüss. Schönen Tag noch.
Tschüss. Gleichfalls. Hallo, guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Ich brauche noch eine Tüte, bitte.
Eine Tüte kostet 50 Cent. Das macht alles 8,80 Euro.
Hier, bitte.
Brauchen Sie den Zettel?
Ja, bitte.
Also, hier ist der Zettel und 1,20 Euro für Sie. Danke. Schönen Tag noch.
Danke. Ihnen auch. Und wie kauft man Lebensmittel in eurem Heimatland ein? Ist das anders wie bei uns in Deutschland?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention, please? We are going to start the opening ceremony of the webinar shortly, but before starting, please be kindly turn on your camera to be more engaged in this event. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The head of National Agency for Language Developments and Cultivations of Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Professor E. Aminuddin Aziz, MA, PhD, the directors of SEAQIL Secretariat, Dr. Ethel Agnes P. Valenzuela, the board of directors of SEAQIL Kitab in Language, rector, dean, or the representative of SEAQIL Partner University, the representative of education's offices, the chairs of teacher associations of English, German, and French, webinar participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the opening ceremony of the webinar with the theme Improve Your Foreign Language Competency to Expand More Opportunities on this fine Wednesday, 20th April, 2023. My name is Nia Kurniawati. I'm going to the master ceremony for today's webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, may we inform you the agenda for this opening ceremony. The first, the singing of Indonesia Raya, followed by SEAQIL Colors and SEAQIL Song, and then report from the directors of SEAQIL Kitab in Language, welcoming remark from the directors of SEAQIL Secretariats, and the opening remark from the head of National Agency for Language Developments and Cultivations of Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of Republic of Indonesia, and then the photo sessions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin our first agenda, the singing of Indonesia Raya, followed by SEAQIL Colors and SEAQIL Song.
Indonesia
It's time to open our eyes to a bright and promising future. We'll rise to the call of the times and create a stronger tomorrow. Let's start to make a difference, teaching everyone to learn through science, health, and technology. We will share our expertise. By promoting knowledge and policies, we can build a better world. Let us take a stand for our visions alone, making future works for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and dreams. Here at SEAQIL, building the future is our legacy.
We'll achieve our goals through partnership, creating opportunities. By working hand in hand, we can accomplish all our dreams. For a better quality of life is now within our reach.
Let us take a stand for our visions of hope, making future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and dreams. Here at SEAQIL, building the future is our legacy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda is report from the directors of SEAQIL Kitab in Language, Dr. Lu Anik Mayani, regarding this event. To Dr. Lu Anik Mayani, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Nia. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. First of all, please allow me to extend my very warm welcome to our honorable guest, Professor Aminuddin Aziz, the head of National Agency for Language Development and Cultivation, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. Dr. Itel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela, the Director of SEAQIL Secretariat, Board of Directors and Representative of SEAQIL Centers in Indonesia, distinguished deans and representatives from partner universities of SEAQIL Kitab in Language, Honorable Keynote Speaker, Mr. Patrick Lodge from Altisia, invited guests from education offices, language teacher associations, Altisia, and other partner institutions of SEAQIL Kitab in Language. Last but not least, to all great teachers and education personnel from Southeast Asia who are joining this forum via Zoom or SEAQIL YouTube channel. It's a very great honor to have you all here in the opening ceremony of the online training on language competence improvement and the webinar on improve your foreign language competency to expand more opportunities. Thank you very much for your time and your presence today to support SEAQIL Kitab in Language to carry out one of its programs to promote the quality improvement of language teachers and education personnel in the Southeast Asia region. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me inform you the overview of the online training on language competence improvement program. SEAQIL Kitab in Language always strives to carry out various programs to promote the quality improvement of language teachers and education personnel in the Southeast Asia region. One of its programs is a training on professional competency improvement for language teachers and education personnel. For the last 2 years, we have served 1,200 participants from 11 countries in Southeast Asia to increase their foreign language competencies. In addition, we also facilitate language teachers to enrich their knowledge regarding competency improvement and foreign language learning in the digital era through webinars. Honorable guests and participants, this online training has attracted more than 1,600 applicants from 11 countries in Southeast Asia region. Unfortunately, this year, SEAQIL Kitab in Language can only serve 500 teachers and education personnel in the region. Most of the participants are from Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Myanmar. Meanwhile, the foreign languages chosen by the participants are English, German, French, Portuguese, and Spanish. All participants will join this online course for a 3-month period from 20th of April until 20th of July 2022. Distinguished guests and participants, in conjunction with the opening ceremony of this online training, in this very good occasion, we also conduct a webinar discussing a theme, how to improve your foreign language competency to expand more opportunities. 2 esteemed keynote speakers are here with us today. Please let us thank Dr. Itel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela, will broaden our perspective on Simeo's strategic roles to address education challenges in the Southeast Asia countries, and Mr. Patrick Lodge, who will share with us about improving language competence using digital platform. We do hope that participants could learn and gain more knowledge regarding the benefit as well as opportunities from mastering foreign languages. Before ending this report, please allow me to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Ito, the Director of Simeo Secretariat, for her consistent and continuous support to Simeo Kitab in Language, for the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, in this occasion represented by Professor Aminuddin Aziz, the head of National Agency for Language Development and Cultivation, for a remarkable guidance to Simeo Kitab in Language. To all Simeo centers in Indonesia, Altisia, partner universities, and other partner institutions for their active collaboration. Last but not least, to all great language teachers and education personnel across Southeast Asia countries who always support Simeo Kitab in Language, conducting its quality program. Once again, thank you very much. Finally, we would like to kindly invite Dr. Ito to deliver her welcoming remark and to Professor Aminuddin Aziz to give his opening remark and officially open this online training and the webinar. Once again, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you very much to Dr. Lu Anik Mayani, who has delivered her report. Ladies and gentlemen, may we invite the directors of Simeo Secretariat, Dr. Ito Agnes P. Valenzuela, to deliver the welcoming remark. Dr. Ito, please.
Thank you very much. Professor Dr. Aminuddin Aziz, the head of National Agency for Language Development and Cultivation of Language of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. Dr. Lu Anik Mayani, Center Director, Simeo Kitab in Language. To our distinguished education experts from Altisa platform, our esteemed guests, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all from Bangkok, Thailand. It is an honor for me to be here to help welcome all of you in this very important webinar. Foreign language competency plays an increasingly important role in this age of digitalization, where learning materials and knowledge are now available online and free of charge in most cases. They can be accessed via numerous open educational resources or open learning resources. As a worker of international organization, I see the importance of mastery of foreign language because definitely this will expand more opportunities for you and of course, be up to date. You should have access to educational resources offered by Simeo Kitab in Language. This will contribute significantly to achieving the goal of Simeo of inclusive, accessible, and equitable education for everyone in the 21st century. We are very lucky with SEAQIL because they are the ones helping us achieve the priority areas under Simeo Education Agenda. That our courses, our programs will address barriers to inclusion. It is our second priority area. And this is aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 4. In this regard, it is important that innovative practices, researches, and modern perspectives on language education be discussed, especially for all of you language experts.
And Sustainable Development Goal number 4.
In the context of COVID-19,
Innovative practices.
the COVID-19 pandemic has made adverse impact on all of us, giving us disruption in the education sector, in which all educational institutions have been forced to close and resorted to distance learning. Therefore, I'm very, very delighted to see that despite the challenges of pandemic, SEAQIL in language still managed to organize this webinar on improving foreign language competencies of teachers and education personnel in our region. We are here to promote international cooperation and networking among language education professionals, and that includes me as well. This important event took a significant amount of time and preparation, dedication, and hard work from KITEP in language and partners. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely appreciate our esteemed partner and education expert from Alticia for your tremendous support to the webinar and the training course of SEAQIL in language. This webinar and the online language teacher competency improvement training conducted by SEAQIL in language undoubtedly brings Southeast Asia closer to enhancing our regional understanding and unity of purpose for cross-regional development through language education. SEAQIL and the 26 centers are bonded together to provide more opportunities for you, teachers, and language educators. Congratulations, SEAQIL in language and esteemed partners for your effort, and may all of you complete the course, which is set from April to July. I would like to enroll as well. Never before have we felt the need to, access all of these relevant training courses, because we can achieve our personal goals as well as our common goal for the development of Southeast Asia. We can all amplify our strengths by going through collaborative partnership. And I think this is one of the first courses that I have opened, which actually generated a lot of interest. Today, you have 550 participants. So huge participants. And congratulations, SEAQIL in language. And for all of you, do not give up, complete the course, and I wish to see you again in the closing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ethel. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is the opening remark. Therefore, I'd like to invite the head of National Agency for Language Developments and Cultivations of Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of Republic of Indonesia, Professor E. Aminuddin Aziz, MA, PhD. To Professor Aminuddin Aziz, MA, PhD, to deliver his speech as well as open this event officially. Professor, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, moderator. A very good morning to all of you. Honorable Dr. Ethel Agnes Valenzuela, Director of SEAQIL Secretariat, distinguished Board of Directors of SEAQIL Center Indonesia, Director of SEAQIL, Dr. Luani Mayani, esteemed keynote speakers, Dr. Patrick Loach from Alticia, invited guests and participants of this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, it is, of course, a great honor and pleasure to meet and greet you virtually at the opening ceremony of SEAQIL in Language Online Training on Language Competence Improvement 2022. This online training will begin with a webinar entitled Improve Your Foreign Language Competency to Expand More Opportunities. As far as I can understand it, the use of imperative verb improve implies a strong request and contains a high hope that all participants will benefit from the seminar which will be indicated in their improved competency in the foreign language they teach to their students. This becomes more important as we are presented with very open opportunities in this digital world. In conjunction with the education development policy, the Indonesian National Medium-Term Development Plan 2022-2024 has outlined and prioritized the development of qualified and competitive human resources. The policy direction and strategies include, among others, the improvement of teachers' competence and professionalism. To carry out this priority, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia proposes a policy called Merdeka Belajar, or freedom to learn, to provide high quality education and learning output that is a high quality of education that can be enjoyed by all Indonesian society throughout the archipelago. In a broader scope, as one of SEAQIL member countries, Indonesia always takes an important part to improve the education quality in Southeast Asian countries. Indonesia always try our best to become an active participant in supporting to attempt the achievement of SEAQIL mission, that is to promote cooperation among its members and associate members countries through its regional centers of projects with their professional leadership role in training, research and development, information dissemination, and other relevant activities. All these are to assist the member countries to develop expertise and excellence in education, science, and culture for the promotion of an enlightened and productive citizenry in their respective countries, and for furthering the quality of life of all the peoples of the region. In relation to Indonesian education policy to develop teachers' competency and professionalism, and the 7 priority areas of SEAQIL, the online training on language competence improvement conducted by SEAQIL Kitab in language, I believe, will improve the roles of Indonesian government, especially in the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, to achieve the 5th priority of SEAQIL, that is revitalizing teacher education. Through this program, Indonesia specifically supports Southeast Asia to develop high-quality language teachers and education personnel among the member countries. Participation of teachers and education personnel from all SEAQIL member countries will also enable SEAQIL to ensure the quality equity of education in the region. Before concluding my speech, I would like to convey my appreciation to SEAQIL Secretariat, Dr. Ethel Agnes Valenzuela, as well as to Alticia, Mr. Patrick Lodge, for all your precious time and great support for the success of this webinar. Last but not least, of course, to SEAQIL Kitab in language for organizing this event and as an effective attempt in promoting Indonesian roles in SEAQIL member countries. By reciting Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby declare SEAQIL Kitab in language online training on language competence improvement 2021 and the webinar entitled Improve Your Foreign Language Competency to Expand More Opportunities officially open. Finally, I thank all participants, all brilliant and motivated language teachers and education personnel from SEAQIL member countries. Thank you for your participation, and I wish you a productive and fruitful online training and webinar. Thank you very much for your kind attention and very good morning. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Amin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed to photo sessions for documenting these wonderful events. Therefore, we would kindly request everybody to give the base pose and the committee would capture it. You can follow my mark. Are you ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the second pose. 1, 2, 3. And the last. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the opening ceremony of the webinar. And we would start the presentation sessions in 3 minutes. Perhaps due to another important agenda, the invited guests may leave or stay in the Zoom meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back. It's such a great honor for me to be the moderators of the house. As I have introduced myself earlier, I'm Nia Kurniawati. Currently, I'm working in Universitas Surya Kancana in Cianjur, West Java, Indonesia. And I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of Siam Kitab in Language to this webinar entitled Improve Your Foreign Language Competency to Expand More Opportunities. As the moderators of the house, I would inform the participants there would be 3 speakers, and each speaker will have 30 minutes for presentations, and the first and the second speakers will present the material simultaneously, followed by questions and answer sessions for 30 minutes. And if participants have questions for the speakers, type your questions in English on the Q&A box, not at the chat box, on the Q&A box using the format names, your country, and to whom the questions is addressed, and then your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin with our first speaker, Dr. Ethel Agnes P. Valenzuela, as the Director of SEAQIL Secretariat. But before starting, I would read her short bio. Okay, Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela is the Director of the SEAQIL Secretariat, which serves as the executive arms of the SEAQIL Council of Ministers of Education from 11 member states that make up SEAQIL. Dr. Ethel is the 18th Director of SEAQIL Secretariat and the first woman director since its establishment in 1965. And she's also an accomplished academic and writer, and led SEAQIL researchers on K-12 toolkit, regional comparison of K-12 systems in Southeast Asia, teaching competency standards, educations for all assessments of the Philippines, multi-grade instruction in Southeast Asia, CEC standards, as well as UNESCO toolkit for the recognitions of higher education qualifications, and toolkit for national information centers, to name a few. As a passionate educator, she also serves as a professional lecturer at the University of the Philippines, Diliman College of Education. I think it would take days to review all of her achievements. And today we are so lucky to have Dr. Ethel to present his materials entitled SEAQIL Strategic Roles to Address Education Challenges. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Dr. Ethel Agnes Pascua Valenzuela. Dr. Ethel?
Professor Dr. Ainun Naim, Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Lu Anik Mayani, Center Director, SEAQIL Kitab in Language, distinguished education experts from Altisia platform, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It is an honor for me to join you and present at this event. As you may all have already known, there is an increasing emphasis on the importance of diversity, inclusion, and equity in education in this century. Moreover, learning a language other than the mother tongue is an important part of inclusive education, since it encourages intercultural understanding and tolerance, as well as respect for diverse and social groups. If educational quality is the goal we aim for, we need to make equitable access to learning and assessment a top priority for our language learners. If we strive for inclusive education, we should take inclusive language practices into consideration. Therefore, I am delighted that despite the many challenges raised by COVID-19 pandemic, SEAQIL Kitab in Language has still managed to organize this timely webinar on improving foreign language competencies to expand more opportunities and launch as well the online teacher competency improvement training in 2022 after its successful implementation in the last 2 years. With the vision to be the leading organization for enhancing regional understanding and cooperation in education, in science, and in culture for a better quality of life in Southeast Asia, SEAQIL maintains its work and aspirations for the development of peoples in the region to address current educational issues, especially the inequality that exists and which has been magnified by the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. In line with the UN SDG goals, especially SDG goal number 4, SEAQIL Education Agenda 2015 to 2035, defined the priority areas, 7 of them, ranging from early childhood care and development to adapting 21st century curriculum. Consistent with the educational prioritization of SEAQIL, the Secretariat has implemented numerous programs benefiting not only language teachers but also education personnel, which we would like to highlight in this upcoming presentation. We started consolidating all the open educational resources in a network which we call as SEAMOOCs, SEAQIL Massive Open Online Learning Courses. This is a platform that enables you to access many information and courses related to global digital literacy in the promotion of equitable and accessible quality education for all. Organized and established by the SEAQIL Secretariat and in collaboration with many other centers of SEAQIL and the Association of Open Universities in Southeast Asia. Secondly, as part of SEAQIL Secretariat's commitment to sustain these online courses for COVID-19 responses, together with UNESCO and Global Partnership for Education, we have launched the Disability Inclusive Teaching in Emergencies, or DTIM, online course for teachers who would be able to assist the learners, especially those with disabilities, to continue to learn at this critical time. The free online course is now available and you can check this in our website following languages on English, Bahasa Indonesia, Gongza, Khmer, Laotian, Thai, and Vietnamese. These courses can be accessed right away. I would like to introduce as well the Southeast Asia Primary Learning Metrics, where this was the first largest regional learning assessment that we have conducted, measuring literacies in reading, writing, and mathematics and global citizenship education. Across all 6 Southeast Asian countries, we have learned a lot on the value and importance of language learning in facilitating literacy. Cambodia, Laos, PDR, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, and Vietnam all joined CPLM to learn where they are in terms of quality, accessible education in this time. We have also encouraged TVET exchanges and mobility, where TVET students can facilitate the institutionalization of internship in another country. But now, due to the pandemic, it is being introduced virtually. CTVET student exchange has been coordinated by SEAQIL Secretariat with all other countries in our region. Another worth noting program is the Pre-Service Student Teacher Exchange Program, which also supports language and cultural exchange. This is under Pre-Service Teacher Education Program, which we are also trying to do virtually. On the way forward, the disruption caused by the pandemic calls for transformation in education, in schooling, and in learning, facilitating teacher education, academic mobility, as well as internship abroad or overseas. Virtually, we can actually provide opportunities for more students and teachers across the region to have a new experience in teaching and learning. SEAQIL will coordinate with our partner universities and our partner institutions to connect with each other, find suitable platform and time frame to continue this regional cooperation through academic mobility programs. As part of our contribution to increase awareness on our regional identity and Southeast Asian community, we have also launched an expanded Senior Schools Network program. It will provide an opportunity for everyone to join the big family of Southeast Asia, where we can exchange ideas, improve capacity of administrators and teachers, and students in various topics face-to-face and online. We all welcome you to be part of this growing big CMEO schools network. Apart from these mentioned programs, there are a wide variety of CMEO awards that keep you updated on many things. CMEO Jasper Research Award on the current trends in research and development. CMEO Japan Education for Sustainable Development Award. It gives you an opportunity to showcase your ESD programs. And last but not least, CME Australia Education Links Award provides outstanding proposal to enhance cooperation between CMEO and Australia. Despite this lockdown and pandemic and the ongoing different mutations of COVID-19 virus, we have, of course, supported all our member countries by offering free webinars during this time. Virtual fora, masterclass to ensure learning continuity are here and being offered to provide equal access to learning and education for everyone. You can visit the Senior Secretariat YouTube channel to watch the webinars that we have conducted. Now, on the case of language teaching and learning, I would like to conclude my presentation to share some considerations for language teachers and education personnel and policy recommendation. The latest CPLM 2019 evidence say that in order to support teachers to improve learning in 6 Southeast Asian countries, we need to develop a pipeline of well-prepared teachers by improving pre-service education. 2, strengthen the effectiveness of existing teacher workforce by providing relevant, ongoing professional development aligned to teachers' needs. 3rd, improve teachers' working conditions in order to attract and retain the motivated, experienced teachers in the workforce. Invest in information communication technologies and support teachers to leverage technologies to support student learning. And finally, strengthen data generation and use data-driven systems to effectively monitor and manage the teacher workforce. I would like to thank Simeo Kitepen Language for organizing this meaningful event with our esteemed partners. Thank you for your efforts and hard work in organizing this event. We are one with you in creating a community of learners, language experts, reconnecting regional education stakeholders and language professionals. I wish you all a successful and fruitful webinar, and thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ito. It's such a pleasure to listen to your insightful presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, now let's move on to the second speaker. I'm delighted to introduce Mr. Patrick Lodge and topic about improving foreign language competence using digital platforms. But before, let me read his short bio. So Mr. Patrick Lodge has been living in Indonesia for several years, and he loves and still enjoy acting as a bridge between Europe and Indonesia as the largest country in Southeast Asia. is the owners of Alticia and Foxtinio, PT Indo Online Mitra Usaha, and many digital platforms and educations. So it is, of course, a very wonderful opportunity to have Mr. Patrick in the next 30 minutes to tell us about something, about improving language competence using digital platforms. But also, Mr. Patrick would like to be accompanied by Mr. Mega. So we'll have two presenters on the sessions. And again, as the moderators of the house, I'd like to remind you that if you have questions, please type your questions in English on the Q&A box using the format name, country, and then to whom the questions is addressed, and then your questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Mr. Patrick.
Thank you very much, Ibu. I would like first to thank SEMEO and PTEP in Language for this invitation. It's a great honor for us to participate to this event. So I will introduce myself again. Indeed, I'm in Indonesia for many years now, almost 10 years, promoting language and promoting Alticia in this beautiful country. And I've been asked to answer a couple of questions to feed the reflection here in this panel. So the different question I've been asked was about one, the benefit of mastering foreign language. That was it's the first question. The second question was the easy way of learning a foreign language that is adaptive to individual. That's the second question. Third, the tips on maximizing the user of online platform in improving foreign language competencies. I try to answer that too. And lastly, some comment about how to improve foreign language competencies in general. So regarding the first question, the benefits of mastering foreign languages for the professionalism improvement of language teachers and staff, I would say that first, I would share my own experience. So I was born in a country where language is extremely important. As you know, as you all know, I'm from Belgium, and in Belgium, we speak 3 languages. So we speak French, we speak Dutch, and we speak also German. So there's no Bahasa Belgia. We don't have Belgian language. So it means that in my country, to find a job, basically, it's very important to speak at least 2 languages, French and Dutch, Dutch, English, English and French. So it's a matter of improve your situation and your condition to learn language. So it's a necessity in my country. So I use this experience and I used to introduce this subject most of the time in my presentation, because Belgium is a small country, but we concentrate all the problems that learning language can solve, and about having a better future, finding a job, have access to more material and stuff like that. So learning language is for us something really essential. And by the way, if I take Indonesia, most of Indonesian are bilingual because they used to speak Javanese and Bahasa or Balinese and Bahasa. So, you know, you experience in Indonesia the importance also to learn languages and how a language can unify a country. So politically, it's a strong asset to have a multicultural, multilingualism strategy, I would say, for a country. So my country, Indonesia, we share the same kind of challenges, and language is part of the solution. So learning language also, the benefits are the ability to exchange knowledge with anyone. So what I'm doing right now, I'm using English to communicate with you. English is not my mother tongue, it's not my mother language, but nevertheless, we can use English to share ideas. We can use English to share some concept and improve the situation or improve a certain situation. So we have a concrete example right now that learning languages is something extremely important because it allows us to communicate and to share ideas and concepts and improve some situations. So the ability to exchange knowledge with anyone in the world would be another very important part for me. A very concrete example is also to be able to be part of international events. So if you as a teacher or as a staff wants to join some community, wants to join some and have more knowledge, be part of international events is one mean to do that. And to be part of international events, of course, you have to speak another language. So it means that you speaking more languages will give you access to more learning material also. My background is IT, for example. 90% of the material you have in IT is written in English. So if you don't speak English, you feel like you're isolated from the community, from the IT community. So for my own condition and to be able to work, I have to speak English and I have to understand and read English, so I can integrate all the knowledge that were created by others in other countries. And most of the time in IT specifically, it's about knowing English. So if I conclude this part, I would say that it's about freedom. It's when you speak different languages, you are free to go where you want, you are free to learn what you want, and you are free to communicate with whom you want. So that's finally about freedom, about your own ability to choose what you want for your future. I used to quote the Alticia vision also. Alticia visions is learning a language allows people to grow. Once rooted, they can take a step toward others. We spared no effort to ease this experience in Alticia. Ours is humanistic vision. So learning a language is not just about, it's not a technical stuff. It's about having access to other culture and having access to others simply. So that's something that is true, that is in the DNA of Alticia. It's about having access to others, having access to knowledge, and make sure that people can choose their future and have a better future. So that was for the first question, the benefit of mastering foreign languages. So the second question was about what's the easy way of learning foreign languages that is adaptive to individual. So for me, the answer is quite easy. There's no easy way. Learning a language is very hard. It requires a lot of commitment, and it's a very personal experience. So that's why, for example, in Alticia, we develop personal learning path or adaptive tests, because we think that every student is different. Every student is evolving in a different environment, in a different culture. So we, as a learning company, we have to offer flexibility, and we have to offer enough possibility for the students and the learner to integrate a language. So that's why we create what we call the spiral learning. So it means that the students can travel around a language. They can grab the language from many aspects based on the students' interests, based on their current skills, based on what they want to learn. So it's about flexibility and make sure that we offer enough material and we offer diversity. So the quantity of content is very important because every learner is different. So it's a very personal answer. The easy way would be different for student A or student B because of his background, because of his history, because of the institution he's working at or the university is working in, is studying. So that's why this is, for us, there's not one way to learn a language. There's many ways. There's many ways to teach languages. So it's a very personal answer. So this is why I said Alticia, we develop personal learning paths and adaptive tests. So at Alticia, we believe in flexibility, in this flexibility. This is the core of the company, diversity, and try to offer as many options as possible. It reflects in the product that we are developing. So that was for the second part, the easy way of learning foreign languages. The third question is, would you have some tips on maximizing the use of online platform in improving foreign languages competencies? For us, the main, and the experience I have in Indonesia, we noticed that the main aspect is about blended learning. So there's a lot of methodology already used in Indonesia. So you have a strong language culture. So you have certain way of teaching language, and online learning systems needs to adapt to the culture of Indonesia, for example. I can take any country like the Philippines or Malaysia. So what we try to do is to adapt to the culture and not the opposite. So we try not to force our community to adapt to the product, but we try to make the product adapt to the culture. Because as I said before, in every country, in every institution, the way of teaching is different and the way of learning is different in every culture. So it's about the blended learning is a very important subject, and we try to communicate as much as we can to our teachers community, to the students, to our universities community, and give them some options about how we can integrate our product in their methodology. But we try to do steps to them. So we try to propose solutions instead of you have to do this, you have to do that. That's not the way we work. We try to adapt to the current methodology. So blended learning is very important. So blended learning is also about finding the right balance between online system, between IT system and conversation, for example, and real life teaching. As I used to say, IT doesn't solve everything. You know, even if we have Google Translate today, we have many systems able to translate languages real time. It doesn't solve all problems. If I go to Japan, for example, I need to understand about the Japanese culture because just translating French from Japanese, I may create some misunderstanding, or they may be translate based on my culture, because we think in my culture that's certain things that maybe is, for example, that may be rude in Japanese. So you have the social and the culture aspect. So it's a layer on top of the language itself. Okay, so finding the right balance between online learning and conversation, culture, real teaching is something extremely important, because a language it's not only composed of vocabulary and grammar. It's also about culture. It's about also how people interact with each other. So you have these important aspects that you have to integrate into the teaching or the learning also. So that's also something we try to solve with blended learning. So it means that for every institutions, every university, for all the teachers, taking the time to think about how to integrate online tools in local methodology is something extremely important. So you have to step down a little bit from the IT part, from the technical part of the language teaching, but you also need to have some reflection about, okay, what my students, what they are expecting, what they want to learn, why they want to learn this language, for example. What are their objectives? What is the purpose? Is it to find a job? Is it because they want to travel? Is it because, I don't know, they want to communicate with a specific community? That will help you to find a solution and find this balance between IT system, online system, and regular, I would say, regular teaching and classic way of teaching. Okay, so this balance is very important. So it's about taking time to discuss different strategy, because even if I take my example in Indonesia, we have different strategy for different university, because the population and the audience of each university is different. Some university are more technical, they're more engineers. Some other university are more focusing on social engineers, on language, on history. So this population and this students population will not learn a language the same way, because they have different objectives. An engineer will be very technical, they will focusing on very specific vocabulary. Maybe the social or literacy university will maybe focus more on culture and why people behave such a way in different countries. So to discuss this strategy is also about doing try and error process and trying some strategy with the students and maybe changing. So it's a process that is in constant evaluation. So there's no one way to teach languages. There's not the wrong way or the right way, actually. It will depend on who you talk to and how and what are the objective as a teacher and as a learner, as a student. Okay, so it's a communication that must take place. So as I said, the strategies are different in every culture and every institution. So it's not just different between Europe or Asia, but it may be different between different institutions, between different universities, because as I said before, the strategy and the objective are not the same. So the last point is about, okay, important related points to knowledge by language teachers and staff regarding this topic. So I see it as a more general question, how to improve foreign language competencies to expand more opportunities. So to emphasize what I said before, I would say stay open-minded and keep learning new things, because the language teaching is something that evolve and improve every year. The techniques are improving, the methodology are improving, the IT system are improving. People create new things around the world every year, so it's not a static. It's not a how can I say? It's a dynamic process to teach, actually. So keep looking to what others do in other countries, in other institutions, and maybe collect more experience. Another things to do also is to share the experience. This is why I'm very grateful about this kind of panels, because it's another opportunity for you to share about your different experience as a learner, as a teacher, as an institution, or in university. So that's very important to share. Oh, I used to do this, it works quite well. How do you do? I used to do that and this and that, and try to make some experience and exchange this experience are very important. And another benefit of speaking many languages is, of course, to be able to do these different experience exchange. So my last word would be, please keep organizing this kind of event. It's super rich, it's super interesting. Everybody will benefit from this kind of event. I'm super happy to share my humble knowledge about teaching language and developing language system. And again, I would like to thank you for your attention, to thank CMEO, Keep in Language, for this invitation. It's a great honor for us to participate in these events. And I will leave now some rooms to my colleague to speak a bit more specifically about Alticia improvements. It will not take very long, but we try to add more functionality every year. We work very hard to try to improve the products. It's endless, I would say it's endless work. And we hope that you enjoy using Alticia so far. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for the very fruitful presentation from Dr. Ethel and Mr. Patrick. So ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for questions and answer sessions. I believe that all of the participants are eager to dig more information presented by both speakers. Now let us see the questions that have been organized by the committee. Let's see. All right. The first questions come from Iwan Syah Putra. I don't know where you're from Indonesia perhaps, for the name. And then the questions addressed to Dr. Ethel. The question is, what exactly is the curriculum about? And as a teacher, what sort of strategies we should make as a part of our effort to chase the target? All right. So the question is intended to Dr. Ethel.
Thank you very much for the question. So I would like to share with you that in our region, every country has its own curriculum. But what is common is that all the countries in Southeast Asia, from Brunei to Singapore, Indonesia, and the Philippines, in the study that I have conducted on K-12 curriculum comparison in Southeast Asia, I have seen that all of the countries in the region have already incorporated 21st century curriculum, 21st century skills embedded. Among those competencies are related to communication. So as a teacher, I think it's our responsibility to develop the communication competencies of our learners. And as a teacher, me as well, we cannot give what we don't have. So I'm very happy that you all come here to learn something new. What you can do is to really try your very best to have all the opportunities for students to be active, to speak up, communicate their thoughts, and be able to speak rationally and communicate rationally, logical thinking, etc. As a teacher, you must have a continuous effort to engage the students to communicate in whatever language that you are using in the class. Thank you very much.
That's the first questions. Let's move on to the second questions. All right, so from Miss Atika from Brunei Darussalam, to all the presenters, to Dr. Ethel and also Mr. Patrick. And then the question is, how can we adjust expectations from teachers during this pandemic? As the working conditions have changed and teachers have to adapt to the expectations remain the same as pre-COVID. And how can we transmit this message to the institution so that they can accommodate this and perhaps empathize as well as on the teachers? All right, to Dr. Ito and Mr. Patrick Lodge.
Well, in the report of the ministers in terms of COVID-19 responses, we have seen that the change that happened is actually the platform for teaching and learning. So from Brunei Darussalam, you have also developed the online platforms, and also other countries, they have their own learning management system where teachers can actually, contribute to the content of the curriculum or use other platforms such as radio and television channels. And in many countries in our region, from Laos, the Philippines, and others in Timor, we are seeing a lot of utilization of modular instructions. But combining all countries in our region, we have a combination or blended mode of teaching and learning, as well as hybrid mode of teaching and learning. We are not expecting a lot from teachers. Teachers have a lot of responsibilities to adjust to the platforms being recommended by the ministers or their universities or institutions. We have to really try our best to manage all of the changes that are happening in our teaching and learning, as well as the way we prepare our online assessment, etc. Thus, we really need to build resiliency and flexibility among teachers. We cannot go back to the old before the pandemic. We have to move on with the new realities. And side by side with the students, we all have to be adaptive to the current work environment that we have. There is no way we can go back. We must move on and try our best to be adapt to the changing situation. How do we transmit this message to the institutions? First, from the ministries of education, they have developed guidelines or guidance for this COVID-19 pandemic, whether it is work hours, whether it is the platform using synchronous and asynchronous modality, or by radio and television channels. Guidelines have been developed at the ministry level or at the university level. They have also issued guidelines, health sanitation protocols, and accessing all open educational resources. So that's my reply to this, and maybe Dr. Patrick can contribute. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You're totally right. There won't be any new normal. That's the old time. Now we need to adapt to the new situation, and online learning is here to stay. I would add something, maybe, is to include the teachers in this discussion. When you have expectation from teacher, it's very important to include them in the discussion and make them agree on these expectations. So the first step would be maybe to include the teachers in this discussion and see with them what are the subjects they are struggling with. Do they have IT problem? Is it a technical problem? Is it a methodologic problem? So you can address the different challenge that the teachers have and adapt the expectation accordingly based on what problem they face or what expectation they have, because they may have also some expectation from the program. So I would say that the communication is the key. Imposing any KPIs to the teacher without having a communication is, for me, something that may not be good. So organizing some panels with the teacher to collect their experience and get their feedback is, for me, something very important. And this is how you can build a strategy for long term, by having an agreement between the institution and the teaching staff. So you can agree on what are feasible or doable expectation and what kind of challenge the community should address, like solving, maybe having some trainings in IT, or some trainings on some system that the institution is using. So communication is the key for me.
All right, thank you for the response. Do we still have questions? Okay, so we have the third question from Gemma Pagadut from the Philippines, and then it is addressed to Mr. Patrick Lodge. The question is, how would you address the problem of confusions among language learners in relation to the different Englishes, in this case accents, they hear from the foreigners or from the internet?
Yeah, so if I take Alticia, in the Alticia courses, you have a clear mention about the accents. So we have English courses, we have American courses, we have South America Spanish or Spanish. It's the same for Dutch. For example, if I take my own example, the Dutch we speak in Belgium is not totally the same as the Dutch that is speaking in Holland or in the Netherlands. And we have this how can I say, this difference in Alticia course. So identify the accent is something very important. When you communicate some material to your students, it would be maybe important to tell them, okay, the material I will give you is coming from America, or is coming from United Kingdom, or is coming from France, or from Belgium, or from whatever. So they can identify the different accents, and it's part of the cultural aspect of learning languages. So what I said before, when you learn language, you learn much more than a language. You learn how people behave, how if they have a specific accent, there may be a historical reason why they have such an accent. Maybe it's because this country lived a mix between two different nationalities for centuries, between Dutch and Americans. You know, for example, in America, in the beginning of the history of the country, it was colonized by English people, but also by French people. So you have some communities in America who still speak French and who integrate French in their English. So you have, by knowing a bit of history of each countries, you maybe understand why they use this kind of accent or this other kind of accent. So to solve the problem, to answer the question, I would say clearly identify where the material is coming from. And second, maybe put a bit of history into the material. Explain this material is about this subject, and this subject happen in this context. So it will help the students to understand why these people talk like that.
Okay, I think it's quite answering. It happens also in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we have so many accents, so many languages. So we have kind of similar problems.
Yeah.
With the accents. Okay, so do we still have more questions? Right. Now from Mr. Rido from Indonesia, it is addressed to Dr. Ethel. Would you please elaborate more about the term pre-service education and why is it important to improve? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. As we have identified, there are two areas for where you train teachers. One is pre-service, one is in-service. And the pre-service teacher education is the course that you take to be a teacher. It's like a bachelor's degree and with specific specialization. So pre-service education is your course or your professional preparation. So in many countries in the region, it is offered for either 3 or 4 years. And some even extend up to 5 years, including the practicum or the field study. And what is interesting in pre-service is it has all the elective subjects, all the liberal arts subjects, and it has also professional courses related to teaching and teacher education. In the whole Asia Pacific, pre-service education is also being studied at this time and being documented. There, you will be prepared the pedagogy, the subject matter specialization, and all the things that you need to know as a teacher. So it is very important that we improve on pre-service education. That's why the curriculum should be reviewed, because things are happening and changing fast. So some of our pre-service teacher education curriculum have been developed 5 years or even longer than that. And I think it's very timely at this digitalization era that we take a look at the content of the pre-service teacher education curriculum and whether they're still relevant, whether it has ICT competencies for teachers, whether technology for teaching and learning is already embedded in the curriculum. Otherwise, when you finish your course as a teacher education, you will still feel that you are not prepared to teach in the digital mode or otherwise. So pre-service education is very important. We cannot have one size for all Southeast Asian countries. The others, it's a bachelor's degree. In some other countries, it's after senior high school or the first level of college education. And that's why it's very important. If we want quality teachers, we should have quality pre-service teacher education. Quality teachers means quality education as well. So thank you very much for the question and have a good day.
Okay, thank you. And I think it is answering the question from Rido. And then we move on to the 5th questions. Okay, it's from Solihin, Indonesia. It is addressed to Mr. Patrick Lodge. He has 2 questions. The first is, in Indonesia, English is not the second language and many people don't speak English all the day. But in all sectors need English right now. So how to promote the English in our routine or daily life and how to make English to be mastered by people? And the second question, in our curriculum, English is not the main lessons, but in other sides, English is needed. How to overcome this case? Thank you, sir. All right, to Mr. Patrick Lodge.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's a very complicated question because it depends on the context of the institution, of course. The simple answer would be I would try to convince the hierarchy and the institution to start an English program using online or using other system. Of course, we would love to help and try to implement Alticia in this institution because it's quite cheap. It can address a large community. But to promote this kind of events, of course, I used to say it's like a chain. Everybody needs to be involved in a language program. The stakeholders of the institution, the teachers, the administration, and the students. So it's a complex question because it's a human question, and you need to have everybody on board. If someone doesn't want to do this kind of program, of course, it makes it very difficult to implement something in a uni or in an institution. So to convince, I would say maybe start by small projects. What I used to call quick win. So organize small events, coffee English or English lunch or something like that, and try to prove by example. Look, people are interested, people are eager to learn English, and they need it because of this, because of that. It depends on the culture, depending on the subject that is learned in this institution. So quick win, small events, try to convince by concrete examples, like English table or English course or English events. And that this is the way to go, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. And then hopefully it's very answering these complicated questions. Okay, now we'll have another question from Theo G. Cahyono. It is addressed to Dr. Ethel. He also has two questions. Wondering to know why SEAMEO doesn't formulate what we call basic competence for each student's level. For we have in the same region, Southeast Asia, so the teachers of English or any subjects be more motivated. And the second is it possible for this program to have exchange teacher around our regions? Thank you.
Well, SEAMEO is an intergovernmental organization composed of 11 member countries in Southeast Asia. And actually, the ministries of education have their own system of identifying the competencies necessary for each level of education, from pre-primary to K-12 to TVET and higher education. So it is actually in the responsibility of what we call as the ministries of education. Their curriculum department is the one responsible for identifying the competencies required for each level of education. However, at SEAMEO, we developed the competency framework. It's a framework. What are the common domains of competencies that we can suggest or recommend? So it is about communication competency, it is about ethics, and it is all about subject matter mastery. But it's recommendatory. It's up to the country to actually build on the recommended framework for competencies. So the second question is about program of exchange. We have SEATeacher. It's a 1-month exchange program of pre-service students who are actually enrolled in a more or less senior already part of their program. So we have that since 2017, 2018, and we have already sent over 2,000 students all over Southeast Asia. But today, in the pandemic situation, we do not have inter-country exchange or intra-ASEAN exchange. We do it virtually first, and maybe we will resume next semester, that is maybe September, when most countries reopen. So please feel free to check on our SEATeacher program in our website. You can participate, you can send students and teachers for exchange, perhaps resuming face-to-face mobility next semester. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ita. So maybe Mr. Theo can join the teacher or student exchange offered by SEAMEO. Let's move on to the next questions. Okay, from Dedi Respianto from yeah, it is addressed to Mr. Patrick Lodge. Is learner's age influence in mastery of a language? Do you have a good way for teaching English for each age? Well, okay, it's quite hard questions.
Yes, I'll try. Well, it depends on the population, the audience. As I said before, every audience has its own objective, right? So the objective of a kids from 7 to 12 is not the same as the students from 15 to 20, is not the same from someone who needs to find a job. So it's about adapting the content and adapting the teaching sessions. I'm not very strong into the kids part, so maybe I can ask the question to our academic person in Alticia. What I know is Alticia is mainly focusing on people learning at university and wants to find a job. So that's the main target that we are focusing on, also for teachers and staff. So it's mainly targeted toward professional learners, actually. For the young kids, honestly, I don't know. So this is something I need to ask. But I know that, of course, it's always about flexibility and adapt the material to the audience. So, of course, you will not teach language the same way to a kid than you would teach it to a person who has 30 years, who's 30 years, of course. So it's a very tricky question, actually.
Yeah.
But we can move on, and we can provide some material for that. We have a lot of material to answer this question, but it's very technical.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully, Mr. Dedi would feel satisfied with the question, with the answers. It's very tricky, Mr. Dedi. Okay, so we have the next question, still for all presenters from Mr. Eka Sugeng Aryadi from Indonesia. I feel in dilemma. Okay, what's wrong with you? In one side, I hope my students enjoy much in learnings foreign language by playing or games. Yet, in other side of the students are in bad feelings after receiving their score in tests or examinations about the target language. What should I do? Okay, who's going to answer it first?
Dr. Ethel, maybe you want to go first?
Well, I'm also a teacher and teaching online, and I used to be a language education teacher. So, well, learning is fun, and foreign language learning should be fun and enjoyable because only when you enjoy learning the language that you can really imbibe the language. But bad feeling after receiving their scores or test examination. Well, I think it's more of personal management of the high expectations. You know, they have high expectations, and maybe they're not satisfied. So, what should we do with the students who are not satisfied in their own test? So, maybe more coaching, more conversations. Teachers should be able to clarify the parameters or the indicators for rating, right? Actually, for my class, I do a portfolio assessment that, you're not just measured in one test, but there will be other measures for your competencies. It's not just one game that you are failing, but all other, in summation, you are very good in your recitation, you're very good in presentation, you have progress a lot. There are many, that's why the assessment should be multimodal. It's not just one game and you flunk and you feel bad. Teachers, please be able to share to the students the multimodal way of assessment so that they will not feel bad and drop out. What we want is that students enjoy our classes and they learn with happiness and not be stressed with all the tests. After all, in our life, we are measured not only by examination, we are measured on the overall performance, on the totality, on how we become a better person every day. So please make the message clear for the learners that it's not just failing in one exam, but it's, you know, surviving and thriving in this situation. Thank you.
Perhaps Mr. Patrick would add more.
Yes. On my side, I would say that enjoying the learning process is extremely important. Having fun is something really important. But as Dr. Ethel said, it's a balance between the different kind of things you're learning. Of course, it would be very difficult to learn a language by only playing games, but it must be integrated in a broader methodology by more, I would say, classical way of teaching and mixing the different materials. So games is a very good material, but exchanging with the students and try to maybe explain or maybe to have him more, how can I say, to get more feedback from him about what he learned in this game, because some games, they don't speak a lot. So maybe he's playing a game where nobody speaks. So maybe that's why they don't learn a lot. So it's about having a dialogue with the students about the game and what the kind of vocabulary they use in the game, because it may be a very specific vocabulary in the game. So the scope may be very narrowed. So it's a dialogue to have with the students to try to mix other subject and other material to make sure it covers the entire languages and not just a specific part of it.
Okay, thank you. We still have 2 more questions, I guess. Okay, from anonymous attendee. Okay, it is addressed to Mr. Patrick Lodge. How to increase productive skills such as speaking and writing? Since online learning, I find it difficult to build these skills. Can at least Alethea be used by our students as a platforms of the learning online?
The answer is yes. The answer is yes, if you have a blended learning strategy. So it means that to improve speaking skills, for example, this is not something you would do in any kind of online learning, including Alethea, because you cannot speak yet to a computer. It's very difficult. But the advantage and the benefit of a system like Alethea is to make sure the students have the basics before he enters the class. So he can focus on the speaking skills, for example. So it's, again, about finding the right balance between online teaching, online learning, and in-class teaching and learning. So the answer, of course, Alethea covers many aspects. We cover all the skills, but some skills are easier to work inside the class than online. So what Alethea can propose, or any online learning can propose, is to make sure you spare time, you gain time in the class, and the value of the time you spend in the class is well used. Instead of, I would take a simple example. If you start writing on the board, on the blackboard, if you start writing some grammar rules or some basic conjugation, it's for me a loss of time, because this is something the students can learn online, the basics about grammar, about vocabulary. And when they are in the class, you can use your time to improve the speaking and the conversation and argumentation with the students, something that is much more difficult to do online. So it's about finding the balance between the time they spend online and the time they spend in the class, or in a one-to-one teaching session, or one-to-many.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have one last questions from Kusnadi from Indonesia. It is addressed to Dr. Ito. To improve the teacher's competence in speaking foreign language and ability in understanding its culture, is there any immersion program for the teachers? Okay, to Dr. Ito, please.
Thank you very much for the question. So actually from CMEO side, we have developed policy for secondment or internship or immersion program within the Ministries of Education and CMEO centers. So if you're interested to learn English, for example, you can apply for secondment, or you can apply for internship or whatever modality. And that is true for all the region, but it has to be a given time. You need to apply in advance. So especially now that we have the pandemic, I think we only continued with Japan. But if you are interested, because Japan is our member country, we also have Canada and the rest. You have to go through the application process, and it should be advanced, or I mean, we should be able to prepare for it in advance. Thank you so much.
So I believe that the participants still have a lot of questions to both of you, but since we are limited by time, so for the discussion or question and answer sessions would be enough. So thank you very much, Dr. Ethel and Mr. Patrick. And for appreciation, please give them big round of applause, or just write clap, clap, clap on the chat box. Thank you very much. And to sum up, so I believe that comprehending the foreign language is very important to survive in this digital era, because the language is the key to counter the technology, and nowadays we cannot live without technology. And at the same time, technology without language competence, especially English as the word lingua franca, is like a partner side by side. So as language teachers, we should improve our competence in the language and also in technology. Thank you very much to Dr. Ethel and Mr. Patrick. All right, before we end the first plenary, we'll have another photo sessions. Therefore, I'd like to once again give your best pose, okay? And I will lead these photo sessions. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we still have very great presentations after this, but while preparing for our last but not least presentations, of course, we all here have been well informed that this event is held by SEAQIL Tibetan Language and Altisia, involving language teachers and educators from all over Southeast Asia, and it is intended to give information about the importance of comprehending foreign language to create bigger opportunities in this digital era. So at the end, it will improve the language teachers' quality and professionalism. And we have, information that the last or the third speakers have been between us. So ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to the third speaker. We are very lucky to have Mr. Mega Hermawan from Altisia that will present his topic about Altisia platforms at glance, also in 30 minutes. But before, let me read his short bio. So Mr. Mega Hermawan is a project manager. He is 29 years old with 11 years experience in educational field, an adroit and reliable person with strong enthusiasms. He earned his master's degree in management from Universitas Widyatama Bandung, and also got his bachelor degree from English Linguistics and Literature. And currently, he's working in Altisia, and then also he's mastering generic teaching skills as an English teacher and teaching creatively using various methods of teaching. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Mr. Mega.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Nia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, just to make
clear.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity that is given to me. My name is Mega Hermawan, the project manager of Altisia here in Indonesia. In this presentation, I will be more focused on the Altisia itself as the platform. So my presentation will be from general to the specific. I will explain Altisia in general, how Altisia supports SEAQIL in this training, and then at the last, I will be more specific into the selected participants. I'm going to show how to activate the accounts and then how to explore the platform. I will share my screen. Could you please enable? Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm going to connect Artisia platform to our topic today, to Mr. Pestik's presentations, of course, to how to improve foreign language competence using digital platform. I will skip this. Okay, before going down to Artisia platform, I'm trying to explain this first in order to improve the foreign language competence. Of course, first we have to reveal, we have to know what kind of aspect to improve. Teachers should be aware of their weak aspects of a language so that they can make a fix of it. And how do the teachers reveal their weak aspect in the language? Of course, it requires an advanced methodological platform. It requires the platform that can facilitate, that can reveal the weak aspect of a language of teachers. And last, of course, the teachers must maximize the platform. If the teachers do not use it or maximize it, of course, it would be useless eventually. And this methodological language learning platform can help the teachers and education personnel to reveal the weakness and the strength of the teachers' language aspects by using an adaptive language assessment. And the second one, methodological language learning platform can also be used to help the teachers and education personnel to provide the precise materials based on their needs to improve their language competencies by using an adaptive learning path. So we have two strong points here. The first one is an adaptive language assessment is a very different than the English test as usual that we have faced so long. An adaptive language assessment, the questions will adapt to our skills, to our questions that when we have the test. It means that, for example, when we are doing the test, for example, number 1, if we answer it correctly, then the next question will be harder, will be more difficult than previous one. So the questions will adapt to our answers. And the second one, using adaptive learning paths, the platform, our platform will give you the unique learning journey where users will learn based on their needs and level. And of course, as SEAQIL Kitab in Language partner, of course, Artisia is very much to support the teachers and education personnel to improve the language competencies using our platform. We, Artisia, of course, fully support the online training on language competence improvement. And adaptive language assessment and adaptive learning paths are two of our methodology inside the platform. The selected participants will learn adaptively in the platform to improve the language competencies for the next 3 months. Okay, so this is Artisia. We fully support the online training for the next 3 months. For the selected participants, I'm going to show you the steps, the technical action on how to activate the platform. So this presentation. Yeah, I'm showing this to distinguish between Artisia in 2021 and Artisia 2022. I'm sure that some or many participants in this year are from the last year's participants who have joined the online training. And we have developed from 22 languages. Now we have 25 language courses inside the platform to be learned, of course, and 28 language assessment only on the platform. And of course, for the user profile has been improved that I'm going to show you the interface of the user profile where you can see the statistics and the data, and that can help you to make a plan of your language learning program. oops, sorry. Yeah, the learning process, this note actually you can find on the information note as SEAQIL shared you days ago, the target of the language, and then the learning target and the learning process. I will be focused on the learning target. You are expected to spend at least 64 hours in the 3 months. So 3 months from now, in the next 90 days, you will have to learn on the platform and spending 64 hours and increase your proficiency level for minimum 1 level. I'm sure you remember that several weeks ago, you have completed the placement test, the online placement test that you have conducted weeks ago. Those score will be used to measure for the final test for the next 3 months. So when it is said that increase your proficiency level for a minimum 1 level, it means that from the placement test that you have completed weeks ago, and the final test that you will have on the 16th of July, 3 months from now. Okay, and the learning process. Of course, spending 64 hours in the 3 months, that could be challenging for some teachers. I know that you are very, very busy in teaching and some activities that you do, but 64 hours actually is really, really achievable. As the data for the 2020 and the 2021, the top time spent of the platform is 434 hours for 2020, and for the 2021 last year, 532 hours. I'm showing this to motivate you that not only 64 hours for the 3 months, but you can also achieve hundreds of hours with thousands of videos and materials inside of the platform, with, of course, more than 1 languages. Yeah, we provide 25 languages, but of course, we only consider the language that we have chosen before. Okay, those are the slides, and I'm going to show you this. Yep. Okay, the selected participants, I sent you the email yesterday to activate your account, and I saw your messages on the Telegram and my mail that some of you, many of you have activated accounts. Congratulations. And some of you haven't activated, of course, maybe of your daily business or something, but I'm going to show you how to activate the accounts properly, so you will not have the mistake and the problem again in the future. Okay, I send you an email like this, okay, with username, yeah, SEAQIL 2022_participant number @tempomail.id. First of all, I'd like to deliver that to log in into Altisia platform, we do not use your personal or company address such as Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo, etc. But we create our mailbox. The name is TempoMail. What is TempoMail? TempoMail is similar to Gmail, actually, to Outlook, to Yahoo. It can receive an email, but you cannot send an email and forward an email from this. Okay, why do we use TempoMail? The answer is TempoMail is originally created by Altisia here in Indonesia to make us easier in managing the mail, in managing the link to reset your password, and managing everything. So if you use your personal email, such as Gmail, etc., it would be quite hard for us to manage the link and etc. If you have forgotten your password and then the link doesn't come to your mailbox, that would be a little bit complicated. But with TempoMail, we can manage everything. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you the homepage of TempoMail. Okay, this one. Yeah. Before going down to TempoMail, sorry, we centralize the supports for you. So there is Linktree link consists of several guidelines, several guidance for you to activate the accounts to access the platform in user guide. To check the technical error and solutions, if you have or face the technical error, we provide also the solutions for you. And then frequently asked questions, to avoid repetitive questions, we also provide the FAQ. And then list of placement test score. If you have forgotten your placement test score, you can look up it here. And then contact us, linked to the Telegram account. Okay. If I click on the first link, yeah, you will see this guide. It consists of screenshot and explanations on how to activate your LTC account. If you read this carefully, you will not have any problem at all, actually. Okay. The one that you will have to remember that for this year, for the login username, we use SEAQIL 2022. So in the tempo mail, when you when you are about to access your activation link, please type SEAQIL 2022 underscore your participant number. For example, 001. Yeah. So this part 2022, yeah, it has to be stated SEAQIL 2022 underscore 001. It has to be the same like this. If you forgot, for example, 01, no mail. So when you see no inbox, no mail from Altisia here on the left box, it means that something is wrong with your username. You must be typo or something. We use 3 digits for the participant number like this. Okay. On the left box, you can see a list of incoming mails, and on the right one, you will see the content of the email. You just have to click on the subject. Many questions yesterday came to me that no mail on my temple mailbox, but when I see the screenshot, they didn't click this subject. Improve your language skills with Altisia. Just click it, and then the content of the email will appear on the right box like this. Okay, and then you will have to create your own password. Of course, it's your right to create your own password, and then you will get directed to create your password, and then to log into the platform. Okay, please remember that we do not use your personal email address. So instead of typing your personal email address, you need to type your username that I gave you, tempomail.id. Yeah, like this. Okay, this is an account of a participant, so I cannot log in, of course. But in this area, please type SEAQIL 2022 underscore your participant number. In this example, 001 or 345 or until 500 at tempomail.id, and then type your own password. Okay, I'm going to log in with my account. After you successfully activated the accounts, this will be your homepage with several menu here: the learning language, the learning paths, and then the current lessons and the progress. Of course, each of you will have a different homepage according to the learning path and the level. Okay. On the guidelines here, part 7, you need to skip the placement test. You need to skip the level test because you have completed before. So you need to choose I already know my level, and then choose the score that you got when you did the placement test. Okay. Yeah. This is the homepage of your Altisia platform. Each users will have the different homepage, and the first thing you have to do is to make sure that this account is yours. Okay, by accessing the profile section. By accessing the profile section, your name will display here. My name, Mega Hermawan, will display here. So in this area, it should be your name. If it's not your name, please inform me immediately through email support@altisia.co.id, the one that sent you an email yesterday, or via group on Telegram, or you can also send me the chat via private chat on Telegram. Okay, if the name here is not your name. Okay. Okay. The purpose of this online training is to achieve 64 hours for 3 months. Okay, in this profile section, you can see the statistic here, the time spent. So if you want to see the progress, your daily progress, your weekly progress, you can see here how much hours you have spent. This account 146 hours. So this will count based on your activities on the platform. So it means that if you leave your laptop, if you leave your phone idle still, and then you change to another tab, for example, like this, then the counter will stop. So it doesn't mean that when you in the morning learn at Altisia at 8 a.m., for example, and then you leave, go somewhere, and then the counter will work. That's not right. Okay, so if you change a tab, if there is an idle on the platform, the counter will stop. So the time spent here is literally your activities on the platform, not the actual time. Okay, you will also see the history of the activities here, the progress, and etc. Okay, so I'm sure that your next question is what do I have to do for the next 3 months? Okay, your chosen learning path. Okay, your chosen learning path that can be changed at any time. You can change this at any time. If you want to study and work, and then you need to select the professional sector from these options, for example, education. Then you will have to start learning from homepage, because this suits your needs. Okay, the materials here, okay, was originally created by Altisia to support you to increase your language competence, because you have selected the learning path, you have selected the level of course. So this homepage is really helpful for you. Beside the homepage, of course, the all lessons menu, where all the participants, all users of Altisia could access, and these materials are the same actually. Okay, you can explore this after activating the account, and if you want to explore more, of course, there is a user guide here, language course user guide. See many and complete and precise instructions on how to explore the platform. This can be accessed via the Linktree link that I shared via an email yesterday. Okay. If you have any questions, of course, via Telegram and via email. Via email support@altisia.co.id, and then via Telegram to Altisia. You have to activate your account immediately. If you still have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me via email or via Telegram. Thank you for your attention and good morning.
I think you're mute, Punya. We don't hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you. So thank you very much for Mr. Mega for very insightful presentations. But we don't have any question and answer sessions because we are limited by time. But you can reach Mr. Mega and Mr. Patrick if you want to know more about Altisia at the email address and the website that it has been revealed. And in short, Altisia is the digital platform that can assist teacher in, and also student in learning and then teaching the language. And it has so many features, if I'm not mistaken, including all courses about all the language skills and soft skills. And the newest also is more interesting because it has more features. But what I like is the tagline, Altisia, language empower people. It's very cool. Okay, so I think this is the end of our webinar. But before, we will have the photo session again. So once again, I want you to, be ready. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and another one. 1, 2, 3. All right, ladies and gentlemen, by the end of the photo sessions, our webinar also reached the end of the programs. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the presenters, Dr. Ethel, and then Mr. Patrick, and also Mr. Mega. And on behalf of the organizers of these events, I'd like to thanks also the participants for joining this event. Hopefully we can meet again in another webinar or another event held by SEAQIL Kitab in Language. So once again, thank you very much. And I'm sorry if there are so many mistakes during my task as the host of today's webinar. Once again, thank you very much. I'm Nia, I'm signing out. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
SEAQIL Kitab in Language is a center created by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, established on 13 July 2009. Our work is focusing on Indonesian language for foreign learners, Arabic, German, Japanese, Mandarin, as well as mother tongue as bridge language of instruction in teaching and learning. To always bring innovation in the area of language education development, we collaborate and provide quality programs of professional excellence for language teachers through learning resources development, research and development, capacity building, and networking. For years, we support language teachers and education personnel by imparting our 4 values: innovative spirit, commitment toward quality, cooperation, and customer satisfaction. In designing our programs, we comply with the policy and agenda of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. And to accommodate the Southeast Asian teachers, we answer to SEAQIL 7 priority areas as well as the 5 recommendations of SEAQIL Council. We endeavor to maintain and strengthen extensive networks with various national, regional, and international institutions. By doing so, we continue collaborating on the improvement of education in Southeast Asia. In the years to come, we strive to work under strategic observations and challenges faced in the 21st century learning. We will continue on conducting needed analysis and research, capacity building, and strengthening linkages. SEAQIL Kitab in Language, prioritizing languages, advancing education. Simeo Kitab in Language is a center created by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, established on 13 July 2009. Our work is focusing on Indonesian language for foreign learners, Arabic, German, Japanese, Mandarin, as well as mother tongue as bridge language of instruction in teaching and learning. To always bring innovation in the area of language education development, we collaborate and provide quality programs of professional excellence for language teachers through learning resources development, research and development, capacity building, and networking. For years, we support language teachers and education personnel by imparting our 4 values: innovative spirit, commitment toward quality, cooperation, and customer satisfaction. In designing our programs, we comply with the policy and agenda of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. And to accommodate the Southeast Asian teachers, we answer to Simeo 7 priority areas as well as the 5 recommendations of Simeo Council. We endeavor to maintain and strengthen extensive networks with various national, regional, and international institutions. By doing so, we continue collaborating on the improvement of education in Southeast Asia. In the years to come, we strive to work under strategic observations and challenges faced in the 21st century learning. We will continue on conducting needed analysis and research, capacity building, and strengthening linkages. Simeo Kitab in Language, prioritizing languages, advancing education. Simeo Kitab in Language is a center created by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, established on 13 July 2009. Our work is focusing on Indonesian language for foreign learners, Arabic, German, Japanese, Mandarin, as well as mother tongue as bridge language of instruction in teaching and learning. To always bring innovation in the area of language education development, we collaborate and provide quality programs of professional excellence for language teachers through learning resources development, research and development, capacity building, and networking. For years, we support language teachers and education personnel by imparting our 4 values: innovative spirit, commitment toward quality, cooperation, and customer satisfaction. In designing our programs, we comply with the policy and agenda of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. And to accommodate the Southeast Asian teachers, we answer to Simeo 7 priority areas as well as the 5 recommendations of Simeo Council. We endeavor to maintain and strengthen extensive networks with various national, regional, and international institutions. By doing so, we continue collaborating on the improvement of education in Southeast Asia. In the years to come, we strive to work under strategic observations and challenges faced in the 21st century learning. We will continue on conducting needed analysis and research, capacity building, and strengthening linkages. Simio Kitab in Language, prioritizing languages, advancing education. Simio Kitab in Language is a center created by the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization established on 13 July 2009. Our work is focusing on Indonesian language for foreign learners, Arabic, German, Japanese, Mandarin, as well as mother tongue as bridge language of instruction in teaching and learning. To always bring innovation in the area of language education development, we collaborate and provide quality programs of professional excellence for language teachers through learning resources development, research and development, capacity building, and networking. For years, we support language teachers and education personnel by imparting our 4 values: innovative spirit, commitment toward quality, cooperation, and customer satisfaction. In designing our programs, we comply with the policy and agenda of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. And to accommodate the Southeast Asian teachers, we answer to Simio 7 priority areas as well as the 5 recommendations of Simio Council. We endeavor to maintain and strengthen extensive networks with various national, regional, and international institutions. By doing so, we continue collaborating on the improvement of education in Southeast Asia. In the years to come, we strive to work under strategic observations and challenges faced in the 21st century learning. We will continue on conducting needed analysis and research, capacity building, and strengthening linkages. Simio Kitab in Language, prioritizing languages, advancing education.